Greetings and welcome to Season 2 of SPCA Stories. Hope you are all doing well. If you are new to us, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I'm Dawn Fenton, SPCA Monterey County Content and Education Manager, and we are coming to you from the SPCA Monterey County Claire Jacobson Learning Center in beautiful Salinas, California. We are very excited about what Season 2 has in store. We will continue to interview members of our incredible staff and our volunteers. There are so many people for you all to meet and get to know. And of course, we will also be launching an additional format that will feature compelling stories of animals rescued by your SPCA Monterey County. For our first guest of the season, we are so excited to introduce Les Lamcke, SPCA Facilities Manager. Every door, kennel, and system reflects Les's dedication to SPCA Monterey County. He knows our facilities inside and out. His dedication and passion helps the animals in our care to thrive. From his lifelong passion for falconry to his deep appreciation for the SPCA, we are so grateful for the vital role Les plays every day. He is such an interesting guy, and I cannot wait for you to get to know him better. Enjoy! Introduce yourself to our listeners.
My name is Leslie Lamcke. I am the facilities manager here at SPCA Monterey County.
And how long have you been with us?
Employed for 3 months.
But you have a very interesting history with us.
So I was the project manager along with the general contractor I worked for on the latest large capital improvement project, which included the building we're in now, the Claire Jacobs Educational Building, and the training center, and the TLC building. And then we also, during the time I was here, during that year and a half, we also worked on a pretty good size road improvement project on what we call the back 40, which is actually more like the back 100. So we're on 200 acres here, 400 of it are buildings. We have about 1.5 miles of roadway, paved and unpaved, which some people don't realize. And the back 40 was getting really difficult to navigate, and we use that road for all kinds of things, for animals, and just to have that space. So I became extremely comfortable being here, and we finished up the project, for the most part, last a year and a half ago. And I left with this hole in my soul for not being here.
Mm-hmm.
And in the meantime, I did other actually animal husbandry type projects with the Monterey Bay Aquarium, with Hopkins Marine Station, which is a Stanford property down at Pacific Grove, but still kind of kept a toe in the water here at SPCA. And the job came up last year, and I had to try and get it. So
we are so lucky to have you. And it's incredible. So we are really lucky to have what we have here, this organization. And I talk about it all the time, how amazing our facilities are and the property that we have and what we are able to do for the animals. And I'm just getting to know you. And so this is a fascinating conversation because you're the facilities manager. So what is that? Tell if you were going to tell somebody what that was. What do you tell people that you do?
The job simply is to manage the facilities, to fix broken pipes, to help people with problems that have to do with the building. Any day, I'll be fixing a clogged toilet, cleaning up some ants. Which happened now that it's raining.
Yes.
To really discussing larger projects, like we're going to be building a chicken coop this year. Hopefully, we're going to be doing just some general maintenance improvements around here. But also, when I came on board, because I have an experience not only boots on the ground, hands-on fixing things, I have the experience of larger capital improvement projects. And so I'm helping the admin team as well with what we call construction management. So I'm what they call an owner representative unofficially. That means like whenever we're thinking about building something or whenever we're thinking about a larger construction project than maybe, something simple like fixing a pipe, I can help the team kind of navigate the general contractor arena and then help them kind of like manage like getting those projects going.
So what you do is so important. It is so important. And what strikes me as really exciting is that you clearly, I mean, like you said, you had when, the project was over, there was a little bit of a hole in your heart. And what really strikes me is that you have such expertise. So we're so lucky to have you in that regard, but you also have that other component that, you clearly love the animals.
Yes.
You clearly do.
I think I've heard many people say this, and I've listened to a few podcasts that you've made, Dawn, that I think what draws me to this place is the property, the people, and the animals. And they're all kind of tied.
Yeah.
But if you were going to rank them, that's the way I would rank them. There's a great quote from Downton Abbey, actually, when Lord Grantham is talking to his future son-in-law. And his son-in-law is like, their house is like a mess, and I can't believe we're managing it this way. And he says, well, it's because you don't love this place. Like, you don't love it for the things that we have to fix and the things that we have to like nurture to make this property work. And that's the way I feel about this property. And I felt the same way during the project where like I have to help these guys to make the best of what they have, which is a wonderful facility. But as soon as you build something, it starts to die. It starts to have little things wrong with it here and there. And my job and my team's job really to keep the buildings functioning so that we can fulfill our mission of helping animals. So
incredible. Mm-hmm. And that's, that is that special piece. Everything you've just said is what makes us so lucky to have you. Because it's not just I feel it, that it's not just it's a facilities job. It's buildings.
Yeah.
That you really, the heart is here for you. What were you like as a kid?
We didn't have a lot of pets growing up. We didn't have dogs. We didn't have cats. We had a few bunnies that were really around to fertilize our garden. And we still have a tortoise, which my dad found on a job site, I think, crossing the road.
Wow.
She's a Texas desert tortoise, about dinner plate size. And we think about 60 years old. And she lays eggs every year.
Whoa.
9 eggs, unfertilized, of course. And yeah, we've had her forever. So my love of nature really came from, we had a house in Moss Beach, California, which is next to a marine reserve. So we'd be there almost every weekend and throughout the entire summer, really out in the tide pools. So my love of animals and my love of nature really started there. And then, of course, we camped a lot. My brother and I were always outside. We still are. And that's kind of where all the rest of my animal journey came from, I think. So,
did you have an animal in particular? Because I know we're going to talk about falconry. I want to talk about that for sure. So would you say that that's birds are your...
No.
Oh,
in fact,
okay.
I think now they are. Birds of prey
mm-hmm.
are my jam.
Mm-hmm.
But I got into falconry because I love animals and because I actually liked training the one dog that my wife and I had first. And I think in college, I was a hunter. And falconry is a hunting sport. And so it encompasses so much more than that. But the base level, falconry is hunting with a trained bird of prey on wild game. And when you get into it, it's so all-encompassing, that sport. It's not a hobby, which we talk about frequently here.
Mm-hmm.
Animal care, animal husbandry is not a hobby. It's
Right.
life.
Yes.
It's your life. It really takes over a lot of your brain power, especially during the season. And so that blossomed as soon as I became a falconer. And you can't dip your toe into the sport either, in this country especially, because you either have a bird or you don't, period. You can fly your friend's bird, but that's not the way it works. So so my love of animals kind of blossomed from there. And when they were thinking about projects and who to put on what project, my name came up as a no-brainer to come here. And I'm still here.
Well, we're so glad you're still here. So where'd you go to school? Tell me all about that. Tell us about that.
In construction, I'd been doing construction since I was a junior in high school with my father's company, which is a residential general contracting firm in the Bay Area. And when you do residential, you kind of have your hand in just about every trade. You do most of it in-house, at least we did. So I learned the skills, the trade, we call it, of electrical, plumbing, drywall, all of those things. And I did that through my undergrad, which basically every weekend, every day off, every spring break, I was working. And my undergrad was done at CSUMB, which is right around the corner from here. So this is kind of like coming back home every day because I live in Morgan Hill now. And, I worked for probably about 10, 15 years solid with my dad. And then I decided to go back to school to like a hybrid master's degree program with Purdue. It was a great program. There were 8 of us in a cohort who made it all 2 years. We were all working, all of us full time while we did that. So there wasn't a lot of sleep had in 2 years. I also had my daughter within those 2 years. So
you're busy.
Super, super busy. But I consider my master's degree in construction management to be one of my greatest achievements. It was a lot of work, super rewarding. Has a Purdue name stapled to it, which is nice. And the community, the people that I went through that program with, I still talk to this day, and that was almost 10 years ago. So, that's the education piece.
Fantastic. So what I also am picking up on, that's really phenomenal, is that so you get to do what you love still.
Yeah.
Even though you've kind of shifted a little bit, you have such pride in your education and all of that knowledge. But you also get to incorporate that heart piece.
Yes.
That has to do with animals and people and all of those things.
I think there is a misnomer that being in the trades is like a fallback job, and knowing how to do things is like something that you just end up doing. But I have always liked being outside. I've always liked working with my hands. And to tie that into my love of animals and is like a dream come true.
Yeah, what a gift.
There are 1,000 construction project manager jobs out there. There's 1,000, especially in California. There was only one facilities manager for the SPCA. So.
So who would you say is the most influential person in your life?
My wife. My wife and I have been together 17 years, I think. I want to say almost 20, but let's say 17. Next year it can be almost 20. We met on a blind date. Our parents set up for us.
Wow.
And here we are.
Wow.
We have 2 beautiful kids, 8 and 11, almost 12. My wife is the director of basically the credentialing program for a charter school network.
Nice.
And she, is so inspirational to me. We have worked really hard on our relationship, on our family, on our home, and I'm very proud of what we've made together. And so, I'd say she's probably the most inspirational person.
I was going to ask you, what are you most proud of?
My family, number 1. My house, number 2, and I think I am extremely proud of my falconry.
So how are your falconry? Am I saying that right? Is it falconry skills?
I'm going to give you the elevator pitch.
Please do. Yes, do it.
Okay. So in the United States, we have a unique program that is unparalleled as far as I'm concerned in the world. So in order to become a falconer here, you have to be an apprentice to a sponsor, and it's all free. So you have to take a test, study for the test, which is 100 questions, and you have to get it 75% right. You have to take a test, you have to pass it, then you have to find a sponsor, which there are not many falconers, so finding a sponsor is sometimes difficult. Then you're an apprentice under that sponsor. That sponsor is teaching you how to be a falconer, how to keep your bird alive, the fieldcraft part of it, the hunting part of it. During those 2 years, you can only trap a wild bird. And it has to be a juvenile bird. 80% of juvenile birds die before their first year. So we're taking one of those out of the wild, and it can only be a red-tail hawk or an American kestrel, which is the smallest falcon in North America. So you can only trap those 2 type of birds, and they have to be juveniles. And during your 2 years, you will train that bird. Most sponsors make you train 2 birds, so you get training, manning down, and training and flying and hunting 2 birds. And at the end of your time with that bird, you set it free. At the end of your 2 years, you can buy a bred in captivity bird of prey. It's bred specifically for falconry. And then you can fly that bird. And after 5 years of being a general, you matriculate, I guess, to being a master falconer. So that is the journey in falconry. And so like I said, you can't really dip your toe into it. There's no training wheels. You have a bird. You have to train it. You have to fly it. And you need to catch game with it to graduate.
And you have a bird.
I have a bird. My bird right now, and she has been for the last 14 years, is Iron Maiden. She is, like I said, 14-year-old Harris hawk. Harris hawks are the most popular bird in falconry because they hunt in groups in the wild, groups of up to 20. In bird of prey world, for the most part, females are larger than males. So Harris hawks are like a matriarchal system, like elephants, like orcas. The head woman hawk, the head hawk, she kind of governs all the babies, orders everybody around. And so when you have a Harris hawk, you can hunt with them cooperatively with other Harris hawks. So falconry being mostly its solitary sport, With Harris Hawks, you can fly with your buddies. So
with all of this knowledge that you bring to the table, how are you? I know you're working with our wildlife center, and that you're invested in what happens up there. What are some ways that you are helping us or going to help us? What are some things that you guys are going to do together?
Unofficially, the wildlife team, first of all, knows exactly what they're doing. They know wildlife rehab and bird rehab much more deeply than I will ever know. And they've already taught me a lot of things up there. We are currently building a 100-foot flight chamber next to the Wildlife Center, which will be opening in the spring. What that allows us to do is have larger birds like eagles and great horned owls in our rehab program for longer. And what the flight chamber can do is flight train, get those birds' muscles moving more than they do now, and basically prepare them for release. What falconers do frequently in rehab, bird rehab, is take a bird that has been in captivity for a long time, nursing an injury or an illness, and does not have any ability to fly for any long distance. Falconers can take that bird, train it as a falconry bird, get it flying really well, really athletic, and then let that bird go.
Wow.
So they have a way better chance of surviving right off the bat, as opposed to releasing a bird that maybe doesn't have a lot of flight training or endurance to survive on its own in the wild.
I know, forgive my lack of knowledge. This is why you're here, to educate me. So I know that occasionally, and it's been a while since we've done this, we have taken birds out to crayons.
Yes.
Crayons. What is that?
Crayons is actually a falconry term.
Huh.
There's a lot of words in falconry that translate that, like haggard. Like if you had like a long night and you're haggard. Haggard is a bird that has reached adult age and is not a juvenile anymore.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I learned something new today. Yeah. I learned something new.
So that's another falconry term. Crayons is what we use to flight train birds that do need a little more exercise and to evaluate their ability to fly. As a falconry bird, I will use a crayons to fly a bird from point A to point B, and it'll be attached to a line. So the crayons is really like a very long leash that we attach to the bird so we don't lose them.
Got it.
Most of the time when we're crayonsing a falconry bird, they're trained at that point. They know they're flying from my glove to a perch or from that perch to my glove. Currently, here, where we crayons birds, they're not trained. We're just trying to evaluate their ability to fly.
I see.
But they're still attached to a line, and we can retrieve them when they fly.
Okay, so we're tracking that ability to fly, but maybe also part of the rehab process a little bit too?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
You're going to get faster results as a falconry bird, but it does take time to man that bird down. So a wild bird, for instance, is usually ready to free fly or hunt at the end of 4 or 5 weeks with a person. So if we think that a bird up there needs that extra time, then maybe that we'll place them with a falconer. Otherwise, we just like to get them out the door and let them go.
That's so cool. That's so cool. This is the coolest conversation. I know there's so much more to talk about. But yeah, I'm learning a lot. Switching gears just a little bit. I know, so you haven't been in facilities manager. You haven't been our facilities manager for long, 3 months about.
Yeah.
But you've been around for a while. You've working on all those projects for us. What would you say, what's the most difficult part about what you do?
The most difficult part is the kind of the unknown. Um, a pipe could break in the middle of the night and we won't know until the morning, or a pipe breaks when none of my team is here and I'm not here, and I have to kind of manage the repair from afar.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the difficult parts. Yeah, I don't think that my department, fortunately, has to deal with a lot of compassion fatigue like the other departments do. However, I still see dogs every day.
Yeah.
I still see animals every day. And so that part hasn't come up for me quite yet. But in falconry, for sure, you're kind of tempered to the fact that animals can pass away.
Yes.
Even though birds of prey are extremely strong, they have such fragile immune systems and still have fragile bones. So, at any one point of your year, something could go wrong and you've lost a bird that you've spent a long time training and spending your life with. And I think in that way, I can have even more compassion for the people that work here in other departments, to where I know exactly what they're feeling, which is kind of part of the job, unfortunately.
Yeah. So I've been around a long time. I've been here 17 years, and I've seen a lot of changes, and I've seen the facility itself just physically change tons from when I first started here, and my job has changed a lot. But one thing that has not changed for me is being aware of what our team goes through.
Yeah.
And I'm very protective of our staff, because I know that they work hard and they love hard. They care. And just I'm very, very protective of that. And perhaps that's a bit where, for me, compassion fatigue can settle in, is caring about the animals, obviously, but worrying about our staff and making, for me, that's kind of where my heart goes to, is I feel for them. And yes, we're all here for the animals. And I know you recognize all of those things. You brought it up, compassion fatigue. We talk about it a lot. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
So what do you do? How do you find life balance?
Well, in construction, especially in residential, although I felt it in commercial as well, just managing multiple projects, is that you feel like you're always on. We're coming into somebody's space and tearing it apart and then kind of leaving for the day. You feel like you kind of leaving a little bit of yourself behind every day until you finish that project, which is that's the way it works. I think what I've been able to do is find outlets like falconry, like hanging out with my family. Freediving is another sport that is also all-encompassing, that really does the trick for me, more even so than falconry does. Falconry is kind of something I have to do. Freediving is something that I need to do to kind of just clear everything out.
What is freediving?
Freediving is apnea, is holding your breath underwater.
Wow. So
I started, I guess, officially about 5 years ago. I took a freediving course here in Monterey Bay, a beginning level freediving course. And from there, I did a few competitions in the North Bay. And I became last year a freediving safety for depth competitions. So we're actually diving every weekend during the spring and summer in Lake Berryessa. which is 70 meters deep at the dam. Even though it's a bit of a haul, it is really the only spot in Northern California like it. And so we're reaching, some divers there are touching the bottom at 70 meters. My personal records are much less than that. So I've made it to 30 a few times. There's also static apnea. So you're just laying in the water still. And the world record for that is like 11 minutes or something. These people are extremely even-keeled. They're some of the most polite, calm people you'll ever meet in any sport ever. But they're so competitive. So I love being in the sport. I love what it does to my brain when I'm training. It just kind of shuts everything out when you're in the water by yourself. Everything's quiet and you can just really just hear your heartbeat. It's like the ultimate meditation.
Wow. It sounds like there's no room for anything else. Like for any, when you're in that state, you can't.
No, you have to put it all together. Even when you're just in static, you have to really clear your brain. And I haven't found any other thing in my life where I can do that, except for freediving.
Yeah, it brings you peace, I guess, for lack of a
It does.
better.
It's all about personal records as well, and they're highly celebrated when you make a PR. They're elite, top freedivers in this world that are still setting records every day. So it's still a fairly new sport, which is amazing as well. So anybody, the best part about freediving is really anybody can do it, because what you're activating when you're in the water is called your mammalian dive reflex. So every mammal has it. And actually, the deeper you go, the more it triggers your reflex, which lowers your heart rate, lowers your urge to breathe, and increases oxygen to kind of the middle parts of your body. So you just kind of chill. And if you get, even a novice freediver can get to a point where they're under, maybe 30 feet under the water, and can just chill, can just hang out there.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. What would you like people to know about the SPCA?
I think, and I've heard some other people say this too, I don't think people realize how much work that we do. I think you say you work at an animal shelter, and then I immediately have to follow it up with, yeah, we do dogs and cats, but we also do horses and wildlife. And I think that is super impressive. And the fact that we're servicing a county as big as Monterey, which
absolutely
blows my mind even to this day, that, we can drive 2 hours south and still be basically in the county.
Yes.
And our expansion eventually into South County will be so amazing for the people that live down here. And really, I'm so excited about that. And I'm not alone.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. And I talk about it a lot on the podcast about how big we are, because I know that we have people listening from not just Monterey County, but from all over. Yeah. And it's just giving them that the visual of how large this county is, and how, we're kind of a destination shelter, for lack of a better term, right now. We're on this big, beautiful piece of land, but there's South County, and that's, again, like you said, 2 hours south, and we're still in the... Right. So there are a lot of people and a lot of animals that we want to be able to provide services for. And so that expansion into South County, which is coming, is going to be fantastic, because we can we have a lot to offer.
I think the other thing that I'd like that everybody should know is that we're independent.
Mm-hmm.
That we're not a national chain.
Yep.
And I think that is probably one of the things, besides the property we're on, that I am most proud of, is that we all have this mission of helping animals and doing it by ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy to think about. And to think about our operating budget and then what that means as far as bringing in donations and really putting our best foot forward anytime we're out in the public. So
yeah, we can't do anything for the animals or the people in our community without that support.
Right.
So we're talking about it is important, yes, because I think people here at SPCA, they think we are all connected. We're all, part of it. There's a boardroom somewhere at SPCA and then everything gets divvied up, and that is not the case. We're all completely independent. So yeah, we can't talk about that enough.
Yeah, we have a boardroom and it's the education building.
Exactly. Is there something about you, something that you do that not many people know about?
Well, I am I've been a performer my entire life.
Yay.
My mom was a church organist and an accompanist for her entire career. So she put my brother and I up in front of people before I can remember. And we have pictures of us singing in front of the church and singing in front of people. And I kind of carried that on. I played guitar for the last 30 years. I've sung in bands. I did a ton of musical theater. And I have a few small-time theater awards from the local theater company in Saratoga that I cherish. Those are some great times. In fact, my wife is a ballet dancer, has been since she was a girl, and my daughter now is dancing. So I still get up on stage twice a year with the ballet company as a character actor.
Amazing.
So I'll be doing the Nutcracker at least every year
so great.
Until she graduates high school and maybe beyond.
And how wonderful that that's something that you can do together.
It is.
As a family.
The first time that I was on stage with all three of them, my wife and I had never been on stage together. We'd just seen each other in shows. And so it was weird. We were all three of us backstage, and Pam and I said, my wife and I said at the same time, basically, this is weird. This is kind of weird. But it's been so much fun. And those ballet shows too, if you've ever done musical theater, it can be a gauntlet of rehearsal. As a character actor in a ballet, you go to 3 rehearsals, 2 tech week rehearsals, and you do 2 or 3 shows and you're out. And so you get to kind of have that experience again, but without all of the time and heartache.
So I just recently learned about your theater background and that creative background. And that's so exciting for me. I was so thrilled to hear that. I have my MFA in acting and directing.
Yes.
So I am a theater chick. That speaks to me, and I just, it's your people. And I kind of knew there was something about you. I was like, what is different about this guy?
Yeah.
And then when you said it, I was like, of course he's creative.
I think you get the creative piece has helped me in every aspect of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly being in construction, you have to be really creative to solve problems.
Right.
And as a facilities manager, it's imperative that I am creative enough to think outside the box. And also theater, musical theater especially, teaches you how to hit the ground running on a problem like that. Because just like falconry, you don't dip your toe into theater.
No, you don't.
You either are on stage or you're not on stage. And you better be on. And so what's really cool is I'm seeing my daughter and her brain start to get that part, get the dive right in part.
That's amazing.
And, she's only 8. She's only done 3 or 4 of these shows, but she's got the bug, and it's really cool to see. Mm-hmm.
I love that. And I think, yes, it's you hit the ground running. There's stamina involved.
Mm-hmm.
And you're giving of yourself more than you may even know until after you're done with the show or a project. I also feel like, and this is another reason we're so lucky to have you, because I think this comes into play. Theater people, actors, performers, we have to see things from multiple places.
Right.
We come at things from different directions, from different points of view. And I think that really sums up, or is at least a piece of what we talked about earlier with you being here. It's not just a job. You see all the points of view.
Yeah.
And it's sort of you find yourself kind of at home.
Yes. The show must go on.
Exactly. Exactly.
The pipe has to be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
You have to. And you are the guy, you're the person to do it. And so the animals need to be saved. The dogs and cats and horses and wildlife, all their cages have to be cleaned every day.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't care that it's Christmas. They don't care that it's the weekend. It's just the day for them. And so that's where I think construction helped me with that too, because you can't really dip your toe into it either. And so this job has to get done. You're the only one here that can do it. And so at the end of the day, that's it. You have to do it. And I love that part about it. I think that's the misnomer, is like, that's the stressful part. No, I love getting stuff done. And that's what is the ultimate stress reliever. So.
I usually start or do this earlier in the podcast, but I kind of feel like I did it a little bit. I like to give a compliment. But I feel like I started with it, but I really want you to know how amazing it has been in the last hour, half an hour, whatever it's been, to really get to know you. Because like I just said it, I was like, there's something different about this dude. There's something interesting that that it'll be fun to get to the bottom of. And we're so lucky to have somebody as versatile and looking at things from all sides.
Thank you, Dawn. It is a mutual feeling. I am so lucky to be here, to lead my team and to kind of help out here. So,
well, I want to thank you for your time.
Thank you, Dawn.
And your talent. And again, we're so, so lucky that you're here. The podcast came about because, yes, of course, it's about the animals. We're all here because of the animals. But it was time to talk to the people who do the work.
Right.
Thank you so much for all that you give and for sticking with us.
Yeah. Thanks, Dawn.
Thank you all for tuning in. We would love to hear from you. If you have questions or just want to say hello, you can drop me an email at dfenton@spcamc.org. You can find more information about all of our programs and services at spcamc.org. A tremendous thank you to all SPCA staff, volunteers, and board of directors. And of course, a heartfelt thank you to our generous supporters. We at SPCA Monterey County could not do what we do for the animals and people in our community without you. If you would like to support us, and that would be amazing, you can find that information at spcamc.org. Also, if you like what you hear, please drop a like or give us a rating on whatever platform you listen in on. Those ratings help us reach more animal lovers. I'm Dawn Fenton, signing off until next time. Much unconditional love to you and your pets from us here at SPCA Monterey County.